IGN's Comic-Con coverage brought to you by Death Race. In theaters August 22nd.
How does it feel to be, at a place like Comic-Con where when they show something like Wolfman, you're the sort of celebrity that everybody is excited to see or hear about?
Well, yeah, it's still so much like a dream to me. I mean, I was a kid who wanted to be a makeup artist and wanted to make monsters for movies, and didn't know anybody in the business, didn't know that I could really even get in and do it, and to actually to do it and to be doing a film like The Wolfman, it's pretty cool. It's like, but I'll tell you, they were excited to see me, but as soon as Benicio came out, they didn't give a shit about me. So.
Well, your creation for the for American Werewolf in London is just absolutely iconic. I mean, if not even so much maybe for the creature itself as for the transformation. How or in what way was this sort of an opportunity for you to either update or sort of take that to the next level?
Well, I mean, this is really very different than American Werewolf in that, in American Werewolf we had a naked man transforming into a four-legged hound from hell, and in a brightly lit room. This is more old school horror movie. So Benicio isn't a four-legged wolf monster. He's a wolf man. So that's a really big difference there. And the transformation at this point, we don't even know what it is still, and I think it's going to be pretty much all CG at this point because we haven't filmed anything on my end, which is disappointing.
Well, how much was the sort of the look of Wolfman sort of created from whole cloth, and how much was actually sort of either inspired or maybe borrowed from the iconic image of Wolfman that we know?
Well, it's very much borrowed from the Jack Pierce makeup on Lon Chaney Jr. Those films are what made me do what I do, and I so wanted to be true to it, but still be able to update it and have it work for this film. So he had to be a little more savage and all, but it's still very much done the same way. Rubber nose and some hair glue on his face. But done by somebody who loves the original, and wanted to stay as true to it as he could.
Well, just in terms of the prosthetics themselves, like how much has technology sort of enabled you to really be able to expand your craft and, like you said, sort of update it and add some new elements in at the same time, stay true to just the general aesthetic that you're able to create with actual makeup as opposed to CGI or something like that?
Yeah. Well, the materials have advanced and changed. But the reality is, what I used on this film isn't all that advanced. It's we use a lot of silicone now, and these silicone gel-filled appliances. The main reason we use them because they're translucent, and you can make very realistic flesh skin, shades and things. But the Wolfman is dark and hairy, and it's hard to kind of lay hair on silicone. So I still pretty much use foam rubber and hair. It's very, very old school in the technique. This makeup could have been done on the Wolfman. I could have done the same makeup in the beginning of my career, 30 years ago. It's basically the same way. Nothing that's really innovative about it, other than I just think the design is cool for this movie.
Well, how easy or difficult is it to sort of tailor what you want to design or what you want to create to the demands of a specific actor? Does that really make any difference in terms of the creation?
The actor makes a big difference. The actor's face is the armature for my sculpture. So if the actor has a nose like mine with a bump on it here, I can't make a flat nose. I have to deal with that. So that very much affects it, and it's also what the actor is willing to wear, how far he's going to let you go. That all has something to play with it. It's something that I think a lot of people don't understand. It's like, why did he do it that way? It's like, well, because they wouldn't let me do what I wanted to do, and the actor wouldn't wear this thing, so we had to do it like this, There's always a lot of compromises and things. The thing that was great about Benicio is that he is a fan of the Wolfman, and he's a monster movie fan, and Benicio would always say to me, "More is more." He was like, "More is more. Put more on there." So he was up for it. So that part was great.
Well, what opportunities or limitations did you just have, whether it was just a matter of like his physicality, much less sort of, it sounds like he was pretty game for whatever you wanted to try.
Yeah, the toughest thing design-wise and makeup-wise in this movie was just to convince all the people involved in this movie that this is what was the way to go. It's basically Benicio wanted it to be Lon Chaney Jr. He said, he pointed to a video cassette and said, I wanted it to look like this. So the very first design I did was that, which I thought it shouldn't be for this movie, but still very true to that. So then the next design I did was basically what we ended up doing, but since I did that design, I did literally hundreds of designs, because this producer wanted to see something, this producer wanted to see something, this director wasn't sure, There's so many people involved, and it's that part became very frustrating. I mean, and I literally went to my first real design is what we made, but it was 2 weeks before filming, and nobody had made a decision. I'd go, I'm just making this. I think I'm right. This is what it should be. I'm going back to that, and forget you guys. You want a Wolfman? I got to start making it now. So.
Well, what sort of balance did they, or what sort of discussion, I guess, went into sort of how much would be balanced by prosthetic makeup and what would be maybe done through CGI?
Well, it was always meant to be a guy in makeup. I mean, we thought maybe we would do some kind of leg thing, CGI or something like that. But we ended up making these leg extension things that we used for the whole film. I think most of the transformation is going to be CGI at this point, because we basically haven't filmed any of our stuff, and the movie's done filming. So I mean, my fear is they were talking about enhancing the makeups with some CG bits at times, and I think they're going to ruin it. I mean, what I saw on film with Benicio and her makeup is really cool. And it's like, you don't need to do anything else. And I think it's a mistake to get some 20-year-old kid with a computer changing Benicio's performance. So.
Well, just one last question. Sort of jumping off of that, like, how much as in the sense that you very much are one of the iconic figures of sort of prosthetic makeup, and how much has CGI and that kind of technology either augmented or maybe limited the opportunities that you've continued to have from one movie to the next, where they may decide that they want to just fix something afterward, or maybe has that helped you creatively be able to realize certain things that you maybe weren't able to do before?
Well, I mean, I embrace the technology. I mean, it's kind of like any trick you can have in your bag of tricks is great, and I think it's great when it's used properly. If it's something we can do with the old school makeup techniques, why spend 10 times the amount of money on it to do it with a computer? But if it's something that we can't do, like for example, the Two-Face in Batman, in the latest Batman, they actually were able to cut in and take away parts of his face that we couldn't do. That's a perfect use of that. I don't think it's the answer for everything, and I think it should be judged on a per case basis, and that's what I always try to do with the designs that I do. I mean, the CG stuff definitely took away the animatronics part of our business. My machine shop is a storage room now. We don't use it, and rightly so in many cases. I mean, there's definitely things you can do that we couldn't do with animatronics, but there's still a lot that we could do with animatronics that should be done that way. It's always nice to have something on the day, in the room, in the real environment, And there's a real magic that happens when you have a really good actor in a really good makeup, and he looks in the mirror and he sees himself, and he's on a really cool set, and all that stuff helps the actor's performance, There's a big difference between an actor in a makeup on a cool set than an actor with dots on his face and a green screen. It's for them to give the same performance, They need that help as well, So I mean, I hope that it just doesn't go away. I hope sets don't go away. I hope makeup doesn't go away, and all these, everything shot with people with dots on their face, in a green screen, I think it'll be a sad day, But mind you, there's a lot of great things you can do with it that I think that's great that you can, So.